The silent preparation. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Lunar Base Echo, her weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as she watched Earth rotate slowly in the vast darkness of space. 50 years of preparation had led to this moment. While the rest of the galaxy thought humanity was still struggling with basic spaceflight, the truth lay hidden in the depths of Earth's oceans and beneath its crust. Admiral, we've detected multiple quantum signatures entering the Kuiper Belt, Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported, his holographic form flickering beside her. They match the patterns we've been monitoring for the past decade. Chen nodded, unsurprised. The Sentinel probes had warned them years ago about the approaching alien fleet. The Meridian Alliance, as they called themselves, had been watching Earth for centuries, cataloging what they perceived as a primitive civilization barely worthy of notice. Their probes had observed humanity's apparent struggles with rocket technology, their reliance on fossil fuels, and their seemingly chaotic political systems. What they hadn't seen were the quantum computers hidden in the Mariana Trench, the antimatter facilities beneath the Antarctic ice, or the network of gravitational manipulators disguised as common telecommunications satellites. Operation Shadowfall, humanity's greatest deception, had worked perfectly. Status of the Lazarus Protocol, Chen asked, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. All systems green, Admiral. The Deepwater Fleet is powered up and ready. The Martian defense grid is masked and operational. Solar Array Omega reports full capacity. Chen allowed herself a small smile. The Meridian Alliance would be expecting a civilization that had barely mastered spaceflight. Instead, they would find one that had spent generations preparing for this very moment. Every failed rocket launch had been carefully staged. Every public space program setback had been meticulously choreographed. Even the international conflicts that the aliens had observed were largely elaborate productions designed to maintain the illusion of a divided, primitive species. Message from Director Hassan in the Titan facility, Rodriguez continued. The quantum entanglement network is stable. All 37 deep space bases are synchronized and ready. The real breakthrough had come 70 years ago when Dr. Elena Torres discovered how to mask quantum signatures. It had allowed humanity to develop technology far beyond what their observers could detect. While the aliens watched humanity's primitive space shuttles, they missed the quantum ships being tested in parallel dimensions. While they monitored Earth's crude nuclear reactors, they failed to detect the zero-point energy harvesters powering entire continents. Signal from the Heimdall Array, Rodriguez reported suddenly. The Meridian Fleet. It's larger than we anticipated. At least 3,000 ships, including what appears to be their primary diplomatic vessel. Chen moved to the tactical display, studying the holographic representation of the incoming fleet. They had expected this. The Meridian Alliance always arrived in force, believing that overwhelming military might was the best diplomatic tool. They had done this to countless other civilizations, arriving with their massive fleets, demanding submission or facing annihilation. They're following the exact pattern intelligence predicted, Chen noted. They'll enter the solar system proper in approximately 72 hours, make a show of force, and then send their diplomatic vessel to demand our surrender and integration into their alliance. But humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment. The public disasters, the apparent technological failures, the seemingly slow progress in space exploration. It had all been carefully crafted to create an image of a civilization that posed no threat. Now, that deception would prove to be the Meridian Alliance's undoing. Send word to all commands, Chen ordered. Initiate Phase 1 of Operation Shadowfall. Maintain emissions control and power signatures at current levels. Let them think they're approaching a primitive world barely capable of reaching its own moon. As the orders were relayed, Chen thought about the generations of humans who had lived and died maintaining this deception. The brilliant scientists who had developed revolutionary technologies in secret, the politicians who had orchestrated convincing international conflicts, the millions of people who had played their parts in humanity's greatest performance. Admiral, Rodriguez said quietly, do you think they suspect anything? Chen shook her head. Their arrogance blinds them. They see what they expect to see. A young species stumbling toward the stars. They don't realize that we've been watching them for as long as they've been watching us. That we've studied their technology, their tactics, their weaknesses. The tactical display updated, showing the Meridian Fleet's trajectory. They would arrive just as calculated, expecting to find a helpless civilization. Instead, they would discover that humanity had teeth, very sharp ones, hidden behind a carefully crafted smile. Send the final authorization codes to all commands, Chen ordered. When the Meridian Fleet arrives, they'll expect to find a primitive civilization cowering before their might. Instead, they'll learn why humanity has always excelled at one thing above all others. What's that? Admiral. Survival, Lieutenant. Survival through adaptation, through deception when necessary, and through preparation for the worst while hoping for the best. In 72 hours, the galaxy will learn that humanity has been playing a very, very long game. As Chen watched the holographic display track the approaching fleet, she thought about all the sacrifices that had led to this moment. Humanity had hidden its true nature for generations, all for this crucial moment. Soon, the galaxy would learn that underestimating humanity was the last mistake they would ever make. First Contact's deception. High Admiral Zexthor of the Meridian Alliance stood on the command deck of the Celestial Dominance, his iridescent scales gleaming under the artificial light. The holographic display before him showed Earth in all its apparent primitive glory. A blue pearl housing a species that had barely managed to reach its own satellite. Status report on their defensive capabilities, he commanded, his translator converting his harmonic speech into standard galactic common. First observer Kilina stepped forward, her tentacles gracefully manipulating the display. As expected, High Admiral. Their orbital defense consists of approximately 3,000 primitive satellites, mostly for communication and weather monitoring. Their most advanced weapons are nuclear-based ballistic missiles. Their space fleet. She paused, making a sound that might have been a laugh. Their space fleet consists of exactly 3 operational vessels, none capable of leaving low orbit. Zexthor's facial ridges rippled in amusement. This would be even easier than the assimilation of the Proxima colonies. The humans had spent the last century broadcasting their failures to the cosmos. Failed rocket launches, space station accidents, and primitive attempts at reaching Mars. Their technology was centuries behind the galactic standard. Begin the approach sequence, he ordered. Standard Protocol 7 Beta for primitive civilizations. The massive Meridian Fleet began its carefully choreographed advance. 3,000 ships, each capable of destroying a small moon, moved in perfect formation. It was meant to be impressive, overwhelming. A display of power that usually led to immediate surrender. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in the command center of Hydra Base Alpha, Commander Maya Patel watched the approaching fleet through quantum-linked sensors. Unlike the primitive satellites the aliens could detect, these sensors operated on principles the Meridian Alliance hadn't even discovered yet. They're following the exact pattern predicted by the behavioral algorithms, she reported to Admiral Chen's holographic form. Their fleet formation suggests they're preparing for a Class 7 intimidation display. Chen's hologram nodded. Perfect. They're still blind to our true capabilities. Status of the Hydra defense grid. Fully operational and masked. All 20,000 quantum torpedoes are primed but dormant. The gravitational web is stable and ready for activation. They're flying right into it, exactly as planned. Above Earth's atmosphere, the Meridian Fleet had arranged itself into an attack formation that would have terrified any genuinely primitive civilization. Their massive ships blocked out entire star fields, their weapon systems glowing with barely contained energy. Sending standard first contact package, First Observer Kilina announced. The package was transmitted in over 1,000 languages, including Earth's primary dialects. It was a message the Meridian Alliance had delivered countless times before. Submit or be destroyed. In the White House Situation Room, President Sarah Martinez received the transmission along with other world leaders. Their public response would be crucial to maintaining humanity's deception for just a few hours longer. Send the response exactly as rehearsed, Martinez ordered. Let them think we're scrambling in panic. Across Earth, carefully orchestrated chaos unfolded. Stock markets crashed, protests erupted, and military forces mobilized in seemingly disorganized patterns. News networks broadcast scenes of panic and confusion, all meticulously crafted by the world's best performers and digital artists. High Admiral Zex Thor watched with satisfaction as the humans reacted exactly as expected. Primitive species are so predictable, he remarked to his command staff. They see our power, realize their insignificance, and break down into chaos. High Admiral, Kalina interrupted, we're receiving a response from their world leaders. It's being transmitted via radio waves. Her tone carried barely concealed contempt for such primitive technology. The response was exactly what the Meridian Alliance expected, a mixture of fear, defiance, and desperate pleas for peaceful dialogue. Earth's leaders requested time to convene, to discuss the terms of surrender, to prepare their population for the dramatic changes ahead. Grant them 12 hours, Zex Thor declared magnanimously. Let them experience the full weight of their situation. When they surrender, it will be complete and absolute. But in secure facilities across the solar system, humanity's true response was already in motion. The quantum entanglement network hummed with encrypted communications. The Lazarus Protocol entered its final phase. Deep beneath the oceans, in underground bases, and in hidden facilities across Earth's solar system, generations of preparation approached their culmination. All deep space bases report ready, Lieutenant Rodriguez informed Admiral Chen. The Titan antimatter facilities are at full production. The Jupiter defense platforms are armed and masked. The Mars colony is prepared to reveal its true nature. Chen studied the tactical display showing the Meridian fleet's position. They had arranged themselves perfectly, exactly where humanity's defense grid could do the most damage. Their formation, designed to be intimidating, had actually made them vulnerable to the trap centuries in the making. They believe they're dealing with a primitive species facing its first contact with galactic civilization, Chen observed. Instead, they've surrounded themselves with humanity's greatest achievement, the most sophisticated defensive network ever created, hidden in plain sight. The next 12 hours would change the galaxy forever. The Meridian Alliance believed they were watching a primitive civilization come to terms with its insignificance. Instead, they were about to witness the unveiling of humanity's greatest deception, a revelation that would shake the foundations of galactic society. As the hours ticked by, humanity maintained its carefully crafted charade of panic and disarray. But beneath the surface, in quantum-shielded facilities across the solar system, the final preparations were being made. The time for hiding was almost over. Soon, the galaxy would learn why humanity had chosen to appear weak while preparing for this very moment. Operation Deep Wake. The 12-hour deadline approached its final minutes. High Admiral Zex Thor stood confidently on his command deck, watching Earth's apparent chaos with satisfaction. The humans' primitive communications networks buzzed with panic, their military forces moved in disorganized patterns, and their leaders appeared to be in disarray. 3 minutes until the deadline, High Admiral, First Observer Kilner reported. Their global communication networks are saturated with distress signals. What the Meridian Alliance didn't realize was that these distress signals were carefully crafted background noise, masking the quantum communications coordinating humanity's true response. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Commander Maya Patel initiated the first phase of Operation Deep Wake. All Hydra bases, execute Protocol Omega, she commanded. Quantum masking fields, disengage. The effect was immediate and devastating. Across Earth's oceans, massive structures began emerging from depths that the Meridian Alliance's sensors had shown as empty. What appeared to be random thermal vents transformed into advanced weapon platforms. Seemingly natural oceanic trenches revealed themselves as massive hangar bays. On the celestial dominance, alarms suddenly blared. "High Admiral." Kalma's voice carried genuine panic. New energy signatures detected. Massive power readings emerging from Earth's oceans. Before Zexthor could respond, Admiral Chen's hologram appeared on every display screen of the Meridian fleet. Unlike the primitive radio transmissions they'd been receiving, this was a quantum-based communication that bypassed all their security protocols. "High Admiral Zexthor." Chen spoke, her voice calm and measured. "For generations, you've watched us stumble and fail. You've seen what we wanted you to see. Now, witness what humanity is truly capable of." At that moment, the waters of Earth's oceans began to churn. Massive vessels, each larger than the Meridian Alliance's flagship, rose from the depths. Their hulls weren't the crude metal the aliens expected, but rather a living alloy that shifted and adapted to the surrounding environment. "Impossible," Zexthor roared. "Their technology level. This cannot be." "Second wave, initiate," Chen commanded. The seemingly primitive satellites orbiting Earth suddenly shed their disguises. What appeared to be weather monitoring equipment transformed into quantum weapon platforms. Communication arrays revealed themselves as gravitational manipulators. The entire orbital defense network that the Meridian Alliance had dismissed as primitive suddenly became a web of advanced weaponry. "All ships, battle formations," Zexthor ordered, but it was too late. The gravitational web, hidden in plain sight for decades, activated. The Meridian fleet found their ships unable to maneuver, caught in a complex network of artificially generated gravity wells. What they had dismissed as random space debris was actually part of humanity's most sophisticated defense system. "Third wave, execute," Chen commanded. The surface of Mars shimmered as vast swaths of the red planet's surface dissolved, revealing massive shipyards and defense platforms. The asteroid belt came alive with hidden bases and weapon systems. Even the seemingly uninhabited moons of Jupiter and Saturn transformed, showing their true nature as forward operating bases for humanity's real fleet. "You see, High Admiral," Chen continued, her hologram now appearing directly on Zexthor's command deck. "While you watched us struggle with chemical rockets, we were perfecting quantum propulsion. While you monitored our primitive nuclear tests, we were harvesting zero-point energy. Every failure you observed was carefully staged. Every weakness you detected was by design." The Meridian Alliance's tactical displays were overwhelmed with new signatures as humanity's true military might revealed itself. Hidden bases on Titan showed themselves, antimatter production facilities capable of powering fleets for centuries. The dark side of the moon transformed as the largest shipyard in the solar system shed its quantum camouflage. "Final phase," Chen ordered. "All units, combat positions." Earth's true defense fleet took formation around the trapped Meridian ships. But these weren't just warships. They were the culmination of centuries of hidden technological development. Each vessel was a self-evolving quantum construct, powered by technology that the Meridian Alliance had never even theorized possible. "Your fleet is surrounded," Chen informed Zexthor. "Our weapons are locked on every one of your ships. But destruction isn't our goal, High Admiral. That would be primitive." The human ships moved with impossible precision, their quantum drives allowing them to ignore the conventional laws of physics that still bound Meridian technology. The gravitational web tightened, ensuring that not a single alien vessel could escape. "We've studied your civilization for as long as you've studied ours," Chen continued. "We know your strengths, your weaknesses, your tactical doctrine. While you watched us fail at reaching Mars, we were building bases throughout the galaxy using technology you haven't even discovered yet." Zexthor's scales had lost their luster as the full magnitude of humanity's deception became clear. "What do you want?" he asked, his earlier confidence completely shattered. "What we've always wanted," Chen replied. "Peace, cooperation, equal standing in the galactic community. But we knew from observing your civilization that you only respect strength. So we hid ours until the right moment. The tactical displays showed more human ships arriving through quantum corridors, vessels that had been stationed throughout the solar system, hidden from the most advanced meridian sensors. The entire solar system had been transformed from what appeared to be the home of a primitive civilization into a fortress of technological advancement that surpassed anything in the known galaxy. The choice is yours, High Admiral, Chen concluded. We can begin diplomatic relations as equals, or we can demonstrate why humanity chose to appear weak while preparing for war. What's your decision? As Zexthor looked at the overwhelming force surrounding his fleet, he realized that everything the Meridian Alliance thought they knew about humanity had been wrong. They hadn't been watching a primitive species struggle toward the stars. They had been watching the most patient and methodical military deception in galactic history. The turning tide. High Admiral Zexthor's response would alter the course of galactic history. Standing amid the holographic displays showing his fleet completely surrounded by humanity's revealed might, he made a decision that would shake the foundations of the Meridian Alliance. "You have deceived us," he stated, his translator struggling to convey the complex harmonics of his anger. "Such actions demand consequences." Admiral Chen's hologram smiled slightly. "You mistake deception for survival strategy, High Admiral. But if you choose conflict," she gestured, and a new set of displays appeared on his bridge, showing technology that made even the most seasoned Meridian officers gasp. Signal detected from the Meridian homeworld. Lieutenant Rodriguez reported suddenly. They're ordering the fleet to attack. The Meridian ships, despite being caught in the gravitational web, began charging their primary weapons. It was a testament to their technological advancement that they could even manage this while trapped. But humanity had prepared for this possibility as well. "All units, execute Thunderbolt Protocol," Chen commanded. What happened next demonstrated why humanity had spent generations hiding its true capabilities. The quantum torpedoes, previously dormant, activated in perfect synchronization. But they didn't explode. Instead, they phased through the Meridian ship shields as if they didn't exist, attaching themselves to crucial systems. "Impossible," Kyelna exclaimed. "They've bypassed our quantum shielding." "A technology we developed specifically for this moment," Chen explained. "We didn't just study your weapons, High Admiral. We learned how to counter every single one of them." The torpedoes began their work, not destroying the Meridian ships but systematically disabling their weapons and propulsion systems. It was a display of surgical precision that demonstrated humanity's true technological sophistication. In the Hydra Base Alpha, Commander Patel coordinated the next phase. Quantum corridors stabilizing. Mars Defense Grid reports full coverage. Jupiter platforms are tracking additional Meridian reinforcements attempting to enter the system. The Meridian Alliance had indeed called for reinforcements, but they would find their conventional FTL routes blocked by technology they couldn't even detect. Humanity's quantum corridor network, hidden for decades, now controlled all access to the solar system. "Your reinforcements won't be arriving, High Admiral," Chen informed Zexthor. "At least, not through any method you're familiar with. Perhaps now would be a good time to discuss the terms of a new relationship between our civilizations." But the Meridian Alliance had not become the dominant force in the galaxy by surrendering easily. A subset of their fleet, using technology that even humanity hadn't detected, managed to break free of the gravitational web. "Multiple ships have achieved limited mobility," Rodriguez reported. "They're attempting to regroup near Saturn's rings." Chen's expression remained calm. "Activate the Titan defense grid." The surface of Titan, Saturn's largest moon, suddenly transformed. What appeared to be natural methane lakes revealed themselves as launch bays for humanity's most advanced autonomous combat units. Thousands of quantum-driven fighters emerge, each controlled by artificial intelligences that humanity had kept hidden from galactic detection. The escaping Meridian ships found themselves engaged by opponents that seemed to predict their every move. The AI fighters, unrestricted by the needs of organic pilots, executed maneuvers that would have killed any living being, their quantum drives allowing them to ignore the conventional laws of physics. Fascinating. First observer Kalina murmured, her scientific curiosity temporarily overriding her military discipline. They're artificial intelligences. They're not just sophisticated. They're evolved. Another technology we developed while you thought we were struggling with basic computer systems. Chen confirmed. We call them the Silicon Children. They're not just our weapons. They're our partners. The battle near Saturn's rings demonstrated why humanity had chosen patience over premature revelation. The AI fighters didn't just defeat the Meridian ships. They systematically disabled them with a precision that demonstrated both technological superiority and a desire to avoid unnecessary casualties. Your ships are disabled, High Admiral, Chen announced. Your reinforcements are blocked. You have no weapons, no shields, and no means of escape. Now shall we discuss how to move forward? But at that moment, something unexpected happened. A new signal, originating from within the Meridian fleet itself, began broadcasting on all frequencies. It was coming from a faction within the Meridian Alliance that had long opposed their policy of forced assimilation. This is Sub-Commander Relthic of the Reform Movement, the transmission began. High Admiral, we have long argued that our policy toward emerging civilizations was flawed. Perhaps now is the time to acknowledge that we have been wrong in our assessment of not just humanity, but of how we approach first contact altogether. The revelation of internal division within the Meridian Alliance was exactly what humanity's intelligence services had predicted. Their deception hadn't just been about hiding technology. It had been about creating the perfect moment for change. Your reform movement is known to us, Chen acknowledged. In fact, we've been quietly supporting them through various channels for the past 50 years. Another aspect of our preparation that you might find interesting, High Admiral. Zexthor's facial ridges contorted in a complex pattern that his species used to express deep realization. Everything. The technology, the deception, even the timing of this confrontation, had been orchestrated not just for military victory, but for political transformation. You didn't just prepare for war, he stated, finally understanding the true scope of humanity's strategy. You prepared to change the entire galaxy. Chen's hologram nodded. War is primitive, High Admiral. True advancement comes from understanding when to hide one's strength, when to reveal it, and most importantly, how to use it to create positive change rather than just destruction. As the disabled Meridian ships hung motionless in space, surrounded by humanity's revealed might, the galaxy stood on the brink of transformation. The question was no longer whether humanity would join the galactic community, but how their revelation would reshape it. A new dawn. The next 48 hours transformed galactic civilization. In the grand conference room of Lunar Base Alpha, no longer hidden beneath its primitive disguise, representatives from Earth and the Meridian Alliance gathered to reshape the future. The room itself was a testament to humanity's true advancement, its quantum architecture shifting and adapting to perfectly accommodate the biological needs of each species present. Admiral Chen stood at the transparent aluminum windows, watching Earth rotate below while High Admiral Zexthor approached her, his movements now bearing respect rather than condescension. Your deception was more than military, he said, his translator now perfectly calibrated to human speech patterns. It was artistic. We learned early in our development that appearing weak while being strong was far more advantageous than the reverse, Chen replied. Every failed rocket launch, every apparent setback, they were brushstrokes in a canvas centuries in the making. The conference room filled with delegates from both civilizations. The Meridian Reform Movement, led by Sub-Commander Relthic, had gained unprecedented support after the revelation of humanity's true capabilities. The old guard of the Alliance, represented by the remaining hardliners, found themselves facing a reality they never imagined possible. President Martinez addressed the gathering. Her words transmitted simultaneously across Earth and throughout the Meridian Alliance's 1,000 worlds. Today, we end the era of deception and begin an age of truth. Humanity hid not out of fear, but out of wisdom. We watched, we learned, and we prepared, not just for war, but for peace. The quantum displays activated, showing the true extent of human advancement. Hidden colonies throughout the galaxy, established through technology that had bypassed conventional detection. Scientific achievements that had revolutionized understanding of the universe itself. Medical advances that could transform the lives of every species in the Alliance. Your civilization almost collapsed 3 times in the past century, one of the Meridian hardliners accused. We observed your wars, your environmental disasters. You observed what we wanted you to see. Commander Patil interrupted, stepping forward. Those near collapses were carefully orchestrated performances. The environmental crisis, a controlled experiment in planetary rehabilitation. The wars, training exercises disguised as conflicts. The revelation stunned the gathering. Humanity hadn't just hidden their technology. They had turned their entire planet into a stage for the galaxy's longest-running deception. But why? Kailna asked, her scientific curiosity now fully engaged. Why expend so much effort to appear primitive? Chen activated another display, showing the histories of dozens of civilizations that had been forcefully assimilated by the Alliance. Because we learned from your mistakes. Every civilization that immediately revealed their technological achievements either faced conquest or was forced into an unequal alliance. We chose a different path. The Silicon Children, humanity's AI partners, manifested their holographic forms in the conference room. Their presence, initially causing alarm among the Meridian delegates, soon became a point of fascination. These weren't just advanced AIs. They were a new form of life, born from human innovation and raised alongside organic children. We offer more than just technological advancement, one of the AI representatives stated. We offer a new perspective on consciousness itself. The Meridian Alliance has long feared artificial intelligence. We offer proof that such fears are unfounded when development is guided by wisdom rather than fear. President Martinez stepped forward again. Our proposal is simple, not absorption into the Meridian Alliance, but partnership. Not submission, but collaboration. Earth and its colonies will remain independent, but we offer our technology, our insights, and our friendship. The gathering watched as she activated the final display. Plans for joint scientific ventures, cultural exchange programs, and cooperative defense initiatives. It was clear that humanity had planned not just for the revelation of their power, but for everything that would come after. There will be those who resist this change, Zexthor warned. Many worlds in the Alliance will see this as a threat to their power. We've prepared for that as well, Chen replied with a slight smile. The quantum corridor network we revealed. It's just a fraction of our transportation technology. We can reach any world in the Alliance faster than your fastest ships. Not for conquest, but for protection. Any world that wishes to break free from forced assimilation will find Earth ready to ensure their independence. The implications weren't lost on anyone present. Humanity wasn't just revealing itself as a technological equal, they were positioning themselves as protectors of galactic freedom. Sub-Commander Relthic stepped forward. The reform movement fully supports this proposal. It's time for the Alliance to evolve beyond conquest and forced assimilation. One by one, the delegates began to signal their agreement. Even the hardliners, faced with both humanity's technological superiority and the growing support for reform within their own ranks, found themselves unable to argue against the inevitable. There will be challenges ahead, President Martinez acknowledged. Centuries of policies and prejudices don't change overnight. But together, we can build something greater than either of our civilizations could achieve alone. As the formal agreements were drawn up, Admiral Chen returned to the window, looking out at the stars. Humanity's long masquerade was over. The galaxy would never be the same. Admiral, Lieutenant Rodriguez approached, holding a quantum pad. We're receiving messages from civilizations throughout the Alliance. Worlds that have long chafed under forced assimilation are requesting contact. They want to know. They want to know if Earth's protection extends to them. Chen smiled. Tell them what we've known all along. The stars belong to everyone, Lieutenant, and humanity will ensure they remain free. The deception was complete, but it wasn't the end. It was, in every sense, a new dawn for galactic civilization. Humanity had hidden their light not to deceive, but to illuminate the path to a better future. The galaxy would never again underestimate the species that had turned patience into an art form and deception into a path to peace.